Welcome everyone to my channel. My name is Monica. For those of you who are new, I am a tarot reader and astrologer based in Cairns, Australia. And today I've got my trusty cup of tea here. This is part of my personal insights playlist where I upload videos based on my own personal experience as a tarot reader, my own guidance, my own insights, my own experiences in having some conversations around, I guess, the topics surrounding tarot readings that I find to be interesting, challenging, difficult, or wonderful. So as you can tell from the title, today I'm tackling the divinatory part of a tarot reading, also often referred to as fortune telling. And I'm asking the question, is divination a dirty word now in the tarot community? And why am I asking that? Well, now let me start by saying that I've seen many videos of readers and tarot collectors who use tarot for self-development and self-empowerment, and that is absolutely wonderful. I have absolutely no issue with that. In fact, I think it is one of the main reasons why tarot has become so not just popular, but it has evolved to amazing deck creations that are, I mean, they've just blown me away in the last decade, how far tarot has come in terms of its artwork and also in the way that people use it. That is absolutely wonderful. And a while back I did a video where I touched upon the themes of fate and destiny in tarot and the importance of asking the right questions so that a tarot reading is empowering. And I absolutely stand by that. I think that if you're doing a reading, you need to be very careful how you frame your questions to make that reading empowering for you rather than disempowering. And I've given examples on this. I've written blog posts on how to ask the right questions. I can list some of those in the description below. But I want to specifically discuss the divination part of tarot that's not often talked about. It seems to me it's not popular, or it's looked down upon, it is frowned upon, and it is considered a bit of a dirty word in the tarot community. Many people would say that they read tarot to self-develop and for self-empowerment, as I mentioned, and again, no issues with that whatsoever, and I think that is a wonderful use of the tarot craft. I think it is absolutely an imperative way to work with the tarot. But there are times in our lives when we want more than that, or we need more than that. And divination or fortune telling isn't necessarily a bad thing at all. So an example here would be someone that is asking whether they will get a job. So a way to make that empowering for them and to provide them with guidance would be to ask questions such as, what do I need to do to prepare for a job interview? What do I need to do to get this job? How challenging will this job be for me? Is this the right job for me? And that is a yes or no question, I know, but it still stands. It's a valid question. I think it's a very important question, and I've given my personal example of asking the question, will I get the job? When in fact it was the wrong job for me and I got the job. Anyway, I'm digressing here. So those are really great questions to ask about a particular job. But then often in a spread, the last card would be like the outcome card, which is like, will I actually get the job? And that's, to me, that divination aspect of fortune telling. That works a little bit with some of those questions about self-empowerment and self-development, and because you're the one that's putting in the work to get the job. You're asking the right question, which is, what do you need to do to make sure you get this job? Right, or what challenges there are to you getting the job, for example. All good and great there. There are other instances where the person just wants to know a yes or no question, and no amount of asking other questions, be they for self-empowerment or not, that will help them. And a particular example that comes to mind is women that come to see me asking if they will fall pregnant. Often, by the time someone comes to see me to ask that question, they've already done quite a bit of work. They're eating healthy, they've stopped drinking, they might be exercising, all these sort of things. You know, there's really no point in asking those questions. They're already doing all of that. Some of them have already done IVF 3 or 4 times, okay? They just want to know, will that actually happen? And to me, that is that fortune-telling aspect of tarot. That is that divinatory aspect of tarot. I have absolutely no issue with that at all. And in fact, I support it. I think it's an integral part of using tarot cards, especially if you're a reader reading for clients. Divination is not a dirty word. But it does take the reader to have a bit of intuition and perception as to the frame of mind of the person sitting in front of them, and to understand where they're coming from, especially when the questions are around relationships. You know, someone comes and asks, is he the one for me, or is she the one for me? In those instances, you have to be a bit delicate and perhaps just a couple of other questions before you get to that particular question, because as I have written in my own blog posts, that's not always the right question. The right question is, what do I need to do to make this relationship work? You know, there's many other questions we can ask before we get to that all important, you know, is he or she the right partner for me? You know, are they the one? Which people often want to ask. But there are times, like I said, and especially around pregnancy, that's a really good one, when someone really would like to have a child and they've done everything, you know, that they can to fall pregnant, and it's still not happening, that they might need a bit of help and guidance outside of conventional norms. One of those would be through a tarot reading that really looks at that. And on that note, I have to say I only do those readings for a specific time frame, usually 6 months to a year. And if the cards are strongly indicating no, then my advice to that person, my guidance would be, you know, let it go and don't stress about it. I know of quite a few friends and friends of friends who tried for so long to fall pregnant, and then they gave up basically. They stopped stressing about it, and then of course they fell pregnant when they stopped stressing about it. So I hope I haven't digressed too much on a tangent there, but I wanted to give a concrete example to explain myself. I hope I'm getting across what I'm trying to get across, because I just feel like sometimes people are a bit too quick to distance themselves from the divinatory aspects of tarot. Like, tarot for self-development, it's all good and great, but definitely not doing fortune telling. That's you know, frowned upon and looked down upon. And I totally support someone if divination is not really what they're into. I don't have an issue with that, okay? If they're not called to divine, that's not a problem. But I do have an issue if people say they don't do divination and fortune telling because they see it as being a low form of oracular work or craft work, which is a bit strange because I think all tarot work carries that element of divination within it. But some questions more so than others, obviously. For me, as I mentioned, divination is absolutely part of what I do. And I think it's in a way a form of recognition that there is a greater energy beyond our own egos and what we can only see and hear and touch. There is the greater spirit, or the universe, or God, whatever name you wish to give it. That energy is certainly prevalent in our lives. And when I divine, or when I do fortune telling, I'm just a vessel or a conduit or a channel for that energy to flow through in the cards when looking at the future for someone, be that with work or relationship or pregnancy or whatever, whichever part of life they wish to look into further. So I'm going to wrap it up here, and I hope I have made sense. These are fairly difficult topics for me, at least, to try and tease apart and to really try to get at what I'm trying to say. I always welcome any comments or feedback from viewers or readers out there. And once again, thank you all for watching and supporting my channel.